Hello, Internet. Guess who's back? Today on Nerdgasm, I wanted to have a little talk about the current generation and the next generation of video game systems. I want to start out by saying I wasn't a quick adopter of the current generation. The only thing I bought pretty much when it came out was my Nintendo Wii, because I really thought the motion controller was something quite innovative and new. Over time, I did wind up buying a PlayStation 3 and an Xbox 360. I would say mostly my purchasing of the PlayStation 3 was for Blu-ray playing. Then I also got it for some of their exclusives. I wound up getting my Xbox 360 so I could essentially play games on Kinect and some of their exclusives. So, you know, I'm a pretty big gamer, but essentially I haven't dedicated myself to play every single new game that's come out in the current generation. Or I would say for the most part, I've been mostly more of a PC gamer. I have my own desktop that I built that essentially plays most of the current stuff. So that's what I've been dedicating myself to. As for next generation stuff, I'll just go down the list essentially. The Nintendo Wii U is a system that I believe should have come out probably about 5 years ago. I understand that, you know, the hardware development cycle does take a while, but essentially for the most part, my biggest idea behind it, my biggest qualm with it is that it's a system that is essentially just an upgrade of the current system. I mean, it's about as plain as you can get. It even uses the Wii's controllers, it plays the Wii games. I mean, all it does now, it has the extra sort of DS type controller to it. So I am not too completely sold on it. I really think it's a system that should have came out quite earlier than this last generation of systems now. I think it would have played much better and it would have had more competition to the rest of the other two systems that way. But hey, you know, to each his own, I guess, right? Continuing my talk about Nintendo, there's always the DS as well, their portable system, which is probably their one unchallenged champion. I have a DS Lite, pretty old school, but it works just fine. I've been considering getting one of those 3DSs. Mostly thinking about maybe one of those extra large ones because it has some really, really big screens. But then since I don't really carry around game systems with me anymore, so the portability is sort of falling down in importance. But then I heard about this new 2DS, and I'll be completely honest, I'm still not sold on it. I still don't know why we have it. I understand, I guess, their point of view for it, which is essentially that they want to make a system that's entry level, that's really easy on the eyes. Essentially, it's a system that's made for younger kids to play with and to throw around. I don't see how that really works, considering, well, I grew up on the Game Boy and the DS and the Game Boy Advance and, you know, those other systems which were very much portable. This weird triangular shaped pad still doesn't really sell to me. But it also just proves one thing. Essentially, Nintendo is listening to its fans and understanding that the 3D, it's not really selling too well. They still have good games, they still have good graphics for portable systems, but the whole 3D, which is part of the 3DS, is not really hitting it with people. I mean, it's starting to sound to me a little bit like when they made the Virtual Boy a long time ago, where it had those weird kind of red glasses and kind of 3D and things along those lines, and that didn't really sell too well either, but then they kept some of the ideas for the games and they brought them to other systems down the line. But hey, you know, again, to each his own. So out of the Nintendo side, I don't particularly plan to buy any of their new systems anytime soon. So, hey, you know, we'll see how that all works out. Now, for the other big two, which is the PS4 and the Xbox One, I've been looking at websites, I've been reading about all the possible hardware specs on them, and for the most part, these two systems they're pretty much par for par, they're pretty much equivalent for the most part. I understand there's some specifics, like what type of memory one uses versus the other, what type of graphics card one uses versus the other, but they're still quite similar. So I would tell you that essentially between these two systems, what's really going to sell you are the exclusives. Depends on what exclusives you're a fan of. I mean, I'm personally a fan of certain Halo game, the Halo games. I'm personally a fan of God of War games. So I'm kind of really up in the air on which one I get. But knowing me, I'm probably going to wait quite a while before I actually invest into one of these new systems, because I have a lot of old games essentially from the current generation that I still haven't even taken out of the box. So, I mean, I guess if you're asking me, I mean, my recommendation would be to wait. I mean, you got to see what else they have up their sleeve. Both of these companies do make quite a few changes after launch. They're just trying to get their system out there into as many hands as possible. I like both systems for the most part, but I don't see myself getting any one of them anytime soon. So, it's really up to you guys, Internet. I mean, you guys do whatever you want to do, and just listen to little old me on the internet blabbing my mouth off about weird systems and how come I don't like Nintendo anymore. Well, I do. It's just that they haven't made a good system in a while, which is kind of sad. I miss them. So anyway, Internet, I'll let you go. I just want to say thank you, and I'll hope to talk to you again real soon. Alright? Bye-bye.